That you have to pay your credit card pala.
Money is important and we need it to feel secure. And when we feel secure, then we can become confident.
Your value should always be your compass when it comes to using your money.
Hi everyone, my name is Marga Tupaz. I'm the editor-in-chief of Modern Parenting. Today, I'd like to welcome you to a special episode of Modern Parenting's Couch Talk. Today's topic is very special because we are going to be talking about financial independence for women, something that all mothers really need to know about. And today I'm being joined by three special guests. Our first guest is also known as FQ Mom on social media. FQ stands for Financial Quotient. She writes and teaches about money and family with 7 books published, including the FQ Trilogy. She sits on various boards and advocates for financial and investment. She is married to Marvin Fausto, and together they have 3 grown sons, and she's now a proud Grammy to her 1-year-old granddaughter, Amelia. Everyone, let's welcome Miss Rose Fres Fausto.
Hi, Marga. It's so
Hi.
nice to be here.
Finally, sit with you in a conversation like this, because we're always just
F2F.
texting. Yes, F2F. I love that. Our next guest is not a stranger to the modern parenting community. She's a former beauty queen, Binibining Pilipinas Intercontinental 2017, and Miss World Philippines 2018. This model turned actress and content creator is also an ambassador for Save the Children Philippines. She's married to Nina Barbers, and they have 2 adorable kids, Kino and Clara. Guys, let's all welcome Miss Katarina Rodriguez Barbers.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Kat, for the nth time we're working together.
Yes, I love it.
I love it too. Okay, and last but not least, she won the title of Binibining Pilipinas International in 2014. She has then continued her humanitarian work by supporting various causes, including reproductive health and HIV awareness and women empowerment. In 2020, she and her friends started a podcast and put up a community for women called The Queens. Today, she and her husband, Vincent Santos, are happily raising their cutie, 18-month-old Sage. Everyone, let's please welcome Miss Bianca Guidotti Santos.
Hi guys,
Hey,
thanks for
Bianca.
having me. Hi.
Thanks for being here with us.
I'm excited.
Okay, so let's start na. Because I'm sure everyone here is really ready to learn a thing or two about women empowerment, because it's Women's Month. Of course, financial freedom and financial investment for women. So as we know, money is something that people don't like to talk about. It's very uncomfortable, especially for Filipinos. Rose, I'd like to ask you, what is, in your experience in all these years that you've been writing books, doing talks, what exactly is financial independence?
Well, financial independence is having the choice, actually. So you're not really worried about where to get money to put food on the table, to send your kids to the best schools that you'd like to. It is being able to set that aside so that you can really focus on the more important things in life.
So we have our own, I'm sure, interpretations of financial independence, but really I think this is even where we touch on financial freedom. It's the same thing.
Yes,
right?
and
Pretty
you know what?
much.
Maybe we could use an analogy. It's like air. You know, you don't really think about it if there is enough of it.
I love that.
But if you cut the source, if you don't have that supply, then, you know, you're gasping for breath and you won't be able to do anything.
It's restricting, no?
Yes.
Okay, so my next question is for Kat, right? Because you're a young mom with young kids. So why do you think financial independence is important for women, regardless of your marital or family status? So why is it important for single women and those who are married with or without kids?
Growing up, I had an example which came from my mom. So her setup with my dad, and then I also had the privilege of living with my paternal grandparents and seeing how my grandparents' setup was, and they're polar opposites. And one thing I admired about my grandmother was she was very financially independent. I could see how when she would want to buy something, she could just buy it. She didn't have to think twice.
Yeah.
She didn't have to hesitate. And now being married and having my own family, I do think it is important to be independent. It took a while for Nino and I to actually sit down and discuss our family finances. And he is so good with money. Like he's a great businessman. He's great with money. And our setup wasn't the traditional get engaged, get married, have children, and have the conversation prior to having kids or getting married. It was very go with the flow. We did it all out of order. And you know, my savings slowly started diminishing, and I was like, I gotta talk to him about this at some point because I'm not working.
So that's your money supply running out?
Yes, yes,
Analogy
exactly. So
one.
that was my air tank going decreasing, and it took several conversations to get there. It was a really different setup compared to a lot of my contemporaries, but I appreciated it. I do think having financial freedom is very important for the sake of your mental health and your capabilities, and having that conversation with your partner or just sitting down and reflecting if you don't have a partner is very important in terms of where your money's going, how you're spending it, and just being intentional and like aware of your spending habits, because there was a point where I was like, okay, I can feel this now. So it's very, very important.
Divine timing.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Rose, I want to ask you, what are some common challenges that women face when trying to achieve this freedom or this independence?
That's a very interesting
And,
question.
diba, and how do they overcome?
Let's just talk about the 5 main challenges when
Okay.
it comes to women and in their pursuit of financial independence. Well, first of all, there's the gender pay gap. For every dollar that we pay a man with exactly the same job, we only
Right.
pay the woman something like 82
Same
cents.
title, same responsibilities.
82 cents. But there's a but, except in the industries of modeling
Beauty.
and the celebrities, if you're an actor. So anyway, so there's that gender pay gap. So at the very start, there's already a disadvantage. You're earning less than your male counterpart, even if you're doing the same job. And then the second, women are subjected to more work interruptions. Because of course, we get pregnant,
Yeah.
we give birth, we have to rear our child.
Our kids need us.
And third, there's also that unpaid work that usually are expected from women, household caring, etc.
Like we're all like,
Everybody's like nodding. All here are mothers, right? Who goes to the PTA, it's really the mom, right?
Yeah.
And then the fourth one is that women in general, they lack confidence when it comes to investing. We're very good at budgeting.
oh yes.
But when it comes to investing, we sort of, ay, di ko yata kaya yan. Right? And of course, the fifth one is that sometimes we overdo the others first before myself.
Okay, yeah.
So those are the 5
Okay, all
challenges.
3 of us are like, Rose naman, I thought you're our friend.
Diba?
Yeah.
So what can we do to overcome these challenges? You just have to be aware of them. So now we put it out there. So when it comes to the gender pay gap, what do we do? Maybe for those who are working in offices, you just have to document your achievements.
Yes.
So that when you negotiate, you have proof.
Yes. You have leverage.
Yes, you have leverage. And don't be afraid to just say it. Don't be afraid to negotiate. And then the work interruptions.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys are luckier now because you have online. There's online
Yes,
work. You can
yes.
actually earn by staying at home. Work from home is now available for both genders. No? And then the third one is the unpaid work. So now that you're raising your children, you don't overdo the girls are supposed to be doing all the housework. And the boys are allowed to play and just do their homework. So at the very start, you do that already. And then the lack of confidence in investing, we should understand that the world's greatest investor, Warren Buffett, he has a lot of traits. He really studies it through. The reason why we are perceived to be lacking in confidence when it comes to investing is that we are not so gung-ho. We maybe because of testosterone that we don't have as much.
And I think it's
We're
also
more risk averse.
I think it's generational, cultural,
Absolutely.
like cycles, right? That's being passed down. We were always told all the
we say.
cons,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
They'll enumerate everything that could go wrong.
Yeah, that's what
So then you're like, okay, then I'm not gonna do it. But with my kids' mom, I want to do this, that, and I'm like, okay, go.
Yeah.
Because to me, what's the worst that can happen? They fail.
Yeah.
But they
Are they
learn.
gonna die?
No.
They're not.
No.
If anything, they're gonna learn.
And I like what she said a while ago. She said risk averse. So let's now transform that risk averse to risk aware. Because it is very important for a good investor to be risk aware.
Yes.
And of course, the last point, the last challenge that I mentioned is that we overdo the others first before oneself. Come on, self-love.
Yeah. Yes.
You cannot give the best quality of love if you are not loving yourself.
Yes.
Absolutely.
If you are drawing from empty.
Absolutely. Like, we need to get over the feeling that we're being selfish when
Yes.
we try to keep something for
ourselves,
ourselves. I feel
yes.
like culturally, as women, Filipinas in general, we are taught to, put others first, ilaw ng tahanan, you have to give your full self to the family, and that's the only way that you can be a successful mother. But I think, there is a balance to that, and finding that balance is important.
Yeah.
Rose, I want to ask you, for formality's sake, is it really necessary to have a savings account and a checking account?
Okay.
Or can you just have one, and why?
Well, everybody should have a savings account, right? Right when your children are
Non-negotiable,
born.
yeah.
Yes, it's non-negotiable. Both savings account and checking account, these are very basic financial instruments. And every woman should have, because it won't just help them in attaining their financial goals, but when they are comfortable
Right.
using them, that confidence will make them become more at ease in really planning their path to financial independence. When your savings account, that's the one that earns interest, and your checking account, if it's a standalone checking account, doesn't earn interest. But that's what you can use to
For
pay your
your
bills, the bigger
Groceries,
bills.
yeah.
There are combo accounts, but they do require a higher minimum balance
Right.
than just the regular checking account or just the regular savings account. But that one will just make you not worry anymore about what's the balance of my checking account? Can I really issue this?
What I love best about this all-access account from Security Bank is that aside from having a two-in-one account, a savings and a checking, you also get a free starter checkbook, a free debit card, a passbook, and free life insurance. Motherhood is already such a huge balancing act, and having to juggle, like for me, kids, I'm sure you guys, job, schedules, chores, the household, our husbands. Honestly, the finances a lot of times takes the backseat. Aside from Rose, it's dreadful for the rest of us. So now, with Security Bank giving us all of these tools, we have no more excuse. I know the concept of having a savings account and a checking account is probably at the stages we're in our lives, something so basic. But when should we teach the concept of savings and checking as tools to help our kids manage their finances? Like, when is the right time to introduce it, and how? And maybe if you have any additional tips.
Yeah, for savings, from the time they're born, open their savings accounts. When it comes to checking, that's probably when they start working, or even prior to, if you will be sending them abroad to study or what. Let me tell you just something, a story. I actually get the kicks out of balancing my checking account on the
Oh my
first
God,
go.
really?
Yes.
I hate
it. So what does it do? It makes you really aware.
Feel more in control.
Yes. When your children see you doing that, maybe you can introduce that
And
to
then they
them.
ask questions, and you're saying, this is what, that's a good idea. Bianca, I want to ask you, because you also advocate for women empowerment, diba, through the queens.
Yeah.
So, based on your experience, I'm sure you have many, like especially since launching this in 2020. How can having financial independence positively impact a woman's life and of course, their confidence and overall well-being?
Well, Katarina said a while ago na financial freedom does give you that confidence to become more independent, and that impacts you because we need that security. Minsan we don't want to talk about it. They say, we don't want to say that money is important kasi we don't want to seem like we're materialistic. Diba? In our culture, may konting ganon. But we have to admit that money is important and we need it to feel secure. And when we feel secure, then we can become confident. We are more courageous in going for what we want to do in life, you know? We have a lot of women who are breadwinners, right, and they put their dreams aside or they become closed off because they want to just focus on making money for their family and they put aside their own dreams.
Right.
They don't think that, oh, this is what I need to become confident. Money is power. It is empowering, and it's okay to admit that. And we have to face that fact. And I think financial independence is important for all women so we can bloom, become ourselves. We don't have to wait for your parents or wait for your husband to do what you want to do in life. It's important. You have to plan it now to be able to achieve your dreams.
For us to attain this financial independence, I think we first have to recognize some of the beliefs we have about money.
Yeah.
You know, for all of us to break all these barriers and
Yes.
learn to embrace, you know, what Rose is saying, those 5 things that hinder us from reaching that. It's probably because we all have certain belief systems about money that we have to recognize and change.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys, what is the one belief you have about money that you realize is either wrong or it's not applicable?
I guess in the household that I grew up in, I think one of the things about money is we don't talk about money.
That's another thing.
I guess growing up, I was the only kid in a household of adults. So I do have siblings, but anything to do with money, it was the adults talking about it. I was never included. The only advice I got was save money from my grandmother. And then my mommy would say, don't save money. Money's for spending.
Oh my God.
So it's contradictory. So I guess I would have appreciated, like in school, like in high school, even just high school, talking about making money, budgeting, investment, something more open. Yeah.
What about you, Kat?
But you have to pay your credit card pala.
You can't just sign.
In full. Say in full.
But no, my real answer is that money equals value.
Yeah.
On every aspect. So value in terms of you make money depending on the value of work you put into your source of income. So if you have a job, you do your job well, so you get paid well.
Yes.
If you're not showing up, if you're calling sick, if you're not performing, you will get
Correct.
paid to that extent.
Yes.
Some people, I think, they despise their job, which is why they feel like it's so difficult to make money. But if you love what you do, it will feel like it's easy.
Right.
In Niños Resort in Siargao, he has a specific employee, si Tatay Berto. He comes every day, rain or shine. And he's there, the first employee to leave and the last employee to leave. He's been with his family for quite some time. And I remember it was raining. And I was watching him through the window. And he was there with an umbrella doing the landscaping. And I was like, this guy is a hard worker. And he's never not there. I draw a lot of inspiration from him when it comes to putting passion in the things, the simple things that you do, and even with what you spend.
Right.
So
and what you buy, right?
What you buy. That was something that I look back and I sort of disagreed with my mom here. When we would go shopping, for example, we would look out for deals, or we would go for brands that weren't so high-end, a little bit more in fast fashion. And now that I'm older and I have my own money to spend, I think opposite of her. I think, am I going to use this? How many times am I going to use this? The quality of this product, isn't an investment piece. So let's say if we talk about jewelry or bags, things that are a bit more materialistic that can actually be investment pieces. I have a daughter now. So is this something I could pass on to her?
Yes.
Before you spend, you think, am I going to get the value for what I'm spending?
It's a very, very important first step.
Yes.
Yeah, because we have to understand the way we relate to money. We have to understand our current relationship with money.
Yes.
And the way, the path to go there is to go down our childhood money memory so that we understand, ganito pa kala kasi when I was growing up. This
I
is what,
thought this.
Yeah,
and
this
it's
is what
wrong.
I used to heard
Right.
from my parents. So some could be wrong, but some could actually be
correct,
very
yes.
right. And now you understand, oh, this is the reason why I deal with money the way I do now.
Or
And
why I'm in this position.
Yes. And you go from there. If you're happy with it, you can further enhance it. And if you're unhappy with it, you can do something about it. And that's where your values come in. Your values should always be your compass when it comes to using your money.
Perfect. I love it. Okay, so being that Rose, of course, is our the expert in this panel.
Obviously.
Yeah. We would like to ask you questions.
Okay, my kids, as I said, they're young. So I have a 3.5 and a 2-year-old. And I like what Bianca said, how she wishes that growing up, the value of money and like how to handle it was taught to her, whether it's at home or in school. So my question for you would be, what are some age-appropriate methods or concepts that we can teach to our children?
Yes, because when you talk about money, it's really a value system.
Yeah.
And values are a lifestyle, right? So you start when they are born, you open a savings account for them, and that's where you put their angpaos, their gifts for Christmas, birthday, etc. So when they grow up and start asking about money, you have something to show them. So, and then when they start growing up, you can show them your bills.
And so, like, now that Kat was asking you, Rose, what are some like fun ways to teach them how to save? Because Kat was asking, they have young kids. Like, how do they instill these saving values and making it fun and maybe a little bit more interactive?
What you can do now is to really find out what their interests are.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm a little bit weird in the sense that my husband and I, we already started to teach them how to do their balance sheet early on when they were in grade school. But the thing is, you don't have to be finance people. And that's what I always say. The basic laws of money are very simple. Just a simple listing of what they have.
What goes in, what goes out.
Yes, and it will be easier for them to understand that there are different ways to use money. Money is not just for spending, money is for saving and investing.
All right, so I have an 18-month-old. I know that's still a little bit too young, but I want to ask your advice. How and when can I include her in, you know, the budgeting in the household, like for grocery shopping or vacation or buying her toy? Yeah. So like, how do I introduce that?
She's only a year and a half. What she's getting right now is more your vibe. The way you and her husband talk about money.
Wow.
So that has to be like a positive thing.
Okay.
So she could feel that, gee, money is nice to have, but it's not the most important thing.
Okay.
In fact, then show your children your regular utility bills so that it's easier for you to tell them, please switch off, turn off appliances when not in use.
That helps,
Turn off the faucet when you're not using, all those things. And when you go shop, you try to give a budget. So if you're buying, I remember this when we would go to Toy Kingdom and buy a gift for any of my sons, friends who would be having a birthday party. I would tell them, this is what we're gonna buy, this is our budget, and we are not going to buy any toy for you this time.
Just a follow-up question. You know, as a mom, of course, you want to be open to them about budgeting and your expenses and how much you're making, but also you kind of want to shield them. Where do we draw the line? How can we keep that balance?
Yeah. So your children should not be shielded in the sense that you keep on still spending. Let's say you were really well off, but something happened to your business. They should know. They should know at least fundamentally what is now the situation of your family's finances. But don't be so melodramatic about it. So you have to introduce the concept and discuss the concept as something that is temporary, and you can actually make a family project out of it. So this is where we are at right now. We can't afford the things that we used to afford, but this is temporary. So how do you think? Where can you help? Maybe they could go through their toys, their things that they're not using, and they can sell. So it becomes something positive, and they're even a part of it.
Okay, so since we were talking about making accounts for our kids, do you, as a young mom, have goal-based savings or funds to plan, say, just education, your family vacations, or something for your personal growth?
It's been 18 months of just focusing on the baby.
Yeah.
But it's also 18 months of imagining her future and planning. As of now, I'm already looking at schools, and I've been asking already how much tuition fee is. It's
crazy.
I got surprised. So definitely that's something that I have to work on. Number one for me is education. Education above everything. Thankfully, we have a lot of the gifts from the grandparents and all of that. So definitely there is funds for that. For me, I have a little small business idea percolating, but right now
that's for you.
That's for me. That's for my own personal, but I'm hoping that will be in the works.
Okay, Kat, what are the benefits in your experience when it comes to setting financial goals rather than just saving money in general? Let's say, do you have specific things that you do for Clara, for Kino, for yourself, for you and Nino?
Nino and I, around the Q4 and Q1, we talk about our expenses for the following year that are non-negotiable. So like our rent, the school for the kids. He does a great job of setting that aside the year before already for the following year. So we know that our lifestyle, it's paid for in advance. When it comes to the kids, we do invest on the activities that they do at such a young age. It's so much fun seeing them try new things. It's more of like, we have like funds for these activities. They're still so young, but instead of putting it in a saving, all of it in
just
a savings,
general savings account.
Yes, we have distinguished, okay, we're gonna put this here first. Again, it's finding what works for you, as you said, Rose. So it's either we put everything in and they don't do the activities yet, but I enjoy seeing them at such a young age doing these activities and finding what their passions are and being able to invest in that too.
You're investing on who they're going to be in the future. So that's amazing. You're helping them get to know themselves. You're building their character.
Rose, in your experience as a financial expert and author, what tools or resources can help moms track their savings, like just to see where our progress is for different financial goals? Are you ma-app? Are you the type to keep spreadsheets?
I am such an Excel girl.
Spreadsheets.
I have balance sheets.
You see, the three of us are like, okay.
Because that was my work. I was an investment banker. So when I decided to be a full-time homemaker, I brought with me my skill, my knowledge about money. So I was watching our expenses, our cash inflow, outflow, and of course, I kept on saving. But right now, in
modern times,
the era of apps, you can choose from so many apps online right now what really works for you. And I have to remind you this, it has to work for you. It should not be anything tedious
or hard.
Yeah, so that after 3 days, you will give up. No, you have to know yourself and find what really suits your personality and your stage in life right now.
So, Bianca's Security Bank, I know that you and I are very familiar with them. They actually make everything easier for us parents when it comes to giving us the tools to manage our finances, our households. So, what is your favorite tool of theirs that makes your life easier?
Well, you actually mentioned it earlier. They're all access accounts. It's amazing because you get both your savings account and your checking account all in one. So, you don't have to go to two accounts to check your balance. You can track your expenses and see how much you're saving all in the app, which makes it so much easier. Again, I have to keep saying this, having a toddler around makes it hard to do things, to do anything.
So anything else you can simplify, do it.
Absolutely. So this is perfect.
Right.
Everything is all in one in the app. And one of the things I love the most about it is the maintaining balance is only 25,000, and that's for both the checking and the savings.
So you get the two accounts, plus you get you just have to maintain 25,000 at least in that all access account.
Absolutely.
Okay, amazing. Because you guys are the beauty queens, and I know that in the pageant world, it's such a shallow. It's not all about beauty and just competing. There are causes. In your experience as beauty queens and now as mothers, how can communities help women with their financial independence and freedom?
Okay, so actually you mentioned earlier how during the pandemic, me and my friends, we were able to build an online community called the Queens. And then when it was time for us to hire, some people to help us build that and manage it, we actually asked within our community who would like the job or who would like to interview the job. So this is about women, again, supporting women, giving opportunities, being a mentor to other women. I feel, because like you said, we have so many disadvantages when it comes to finances. Na we need to really be building each other up. Just really being able to talk to other women about this is key to it, and giving opportunities to fellow women as well.
I do agree that it's more of like being able to talk about it. And you said earlier that it's dreadful. Yeah, so like it's been on my priority list, to-do list for the longest time. For the longest time, and every day wake up telling myself, today's the day. I think I hadn't had the influence until now to kind of really just like, hey, it's very important. And women typically here in the Philippines, we run the household. So you should know how much is coming in and how much is going out. Because how can you run it if you don't know? You're the one at home. You're the one buying the groceries. You're the one exposed to how much is going out. So you should know how much is coming in. Also for yourself, having the budget for yourself. And I feel like communities can help and influence women to attain financial independence by simply talking about it.
So my last question is for Rose. So we started out earlier with the 5 things that you mentioned that stop us, the challenges or the hindrances, right? So now I want to end with, what are the 5 tips you have for women in general? Like, how can they keep themselves educated and informed about financial topics?
Yeah. So number 1, I think you have to know where you are right now. So by simply taking the online FQ test for free, which you can find online, and it will now test you for both your knowledge and behavior, which is the more important.
Okay, everyone gets test.
No more living in denial.
And then as we discussed earlier, it's very important for us to know our current relationship with money. So it's going down your childhood money memory and understanding, this is why I relate.
The belief systems that we grew up with.
To money the way I do now. And then number 3, I want you to visualize your dream life. So that will now have your goals. Because we have to understand that money is just a tool for us to live our dream life. And number 4, look around what's out there. What financial instruments can actually help you achieve your dream goals, your dream life. And then, of course, you have to make it easy. That is always my way of teaching about money. You have to make it easy for yourself, and we have to understand that our environment is so important. We have to set our environment such that it's easier for us to do the right thing, and it could go. If you just have one thing to do, it's automate your saving and investing.
And there you have it, guys. There's our episode for today for Modern Parenting's Couch Talk. I hope that all of you watching, moms, women, even men, single or not, I hope that you all learned a thing or two from our conversation today. So Rose, Kat, and Bianca, thank you so much, you guys, for being with us today, for sharing your experiences, your expertise, and all the kwentuhan. So that's it. Thanks, guys. Bye!